We'll vote to transfer. We have one item on the ballot, on the agenda today, and that is to see if the town will vote to transfer the amount of $146,872.53 plus June and July interest from the fire truck stabilization fund for the new fire truck purchase, or take any action relative thereto. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes unanimously. Is there any other business to come before the town at this time? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second. Thank you.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Our meeting is over, but the select board meeting is not.
You got it. I'll be back. I'm trying to.
I have to leave there.
Yeah.
All right.
What?
Have gavel, we'll travel.
So we gotta talk to Brad.
Bye, everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
Brian.
You can say whatever you want.
Possibly with the finance, yeah, who said she has not gotten yet? I
But
will.
maybe we shouldn't disturb.
Okay, anyhow, that's all I got. to
Yeah,
say.
I, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi.
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 Bruce.
Hi. Before you get into our official town business,
Hey, Julia.
I need.
Hey, so where are you right now?
The election on November 5th, so that Mr. Moran can post it.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be posted until the latest is October 29th.
But it's always good to get it done early.
Well, while you're here, must be.
Yeah.
Well, I
Well,
think that you're all.
You just told me I'm appointed.
Say
She said she's,
Alright, so
he'll send me an email with the date, but he said I'm appointed, so I just.
I'm not putting
So when
any
we have
dates
our
in
meeting,
here
you
yet.
don't hear from them officially, either you just
Yeah,
vote.
he's
but
right,
they
please.
participating must say.
Yeah. that was done public. Okay.
That's it.
Okay,
Hey, Bruce.
The meeting's on.
hey, how's my lawnmower?
Still.
Oh, so this one.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
I sold my.
You're correct. You just get out. Okay.
It's on my mind. So as far as God.
Yeah, I'm sure you get everything you worry about my lawnmower.
It's the election warrant.
Alright, anybody page? That's it.
There you go.
Okay, thanks, Ruth.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We call this meeting to order. Set home back.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Moran.
First, approve the meeting minutes of September 10th, 2024.
I move to approve the minutes of the meeting on.
It
Whatever
says
date
here,
you said.
indicate method of service the warrant. I
All in favor?
Is that what that means?
Yeah.
That's okay.
And posted,
Select board chair to sign an updated letter reminding all elected officials, boards, committees, and departments that all revenues received must be reconciled and deposited or turned into the treasurer by the 28th of each month. Letter will be distributed to all department heads as a reminder.
I don't have do you have the letter?
He's already signed it.
Oh,
Signed it.
Yeah.
Okay, this is just a reminder.
Yep.
Okay,
He signed it 5 minutes ago.
Miscellaneous mail meeting notices. KP Law, email regarding ARPA funds extension if necessary for any town projects not completed by December 31st, 2024. Select board to discuss if Plainfield falls into this category and how to apply for an extension if necessary.
oh, Paula left.
And I think everybody was told that's when the funds end and they need to get their stuff done.
Mine's
Well, actually, no, we were originally telling people that they had until December 31st, 2026.
Well,
Yes.
And then, but then it was, that's not right.
it's 2024 for allocation, 2026 for spending.
Right,
Ah,
so all the funds have to be allocated.
well, I
Correct.
think they've been allocated.
No,
haven't
the
they?
bond thing is still up the air, because the state owns the dam, and we're gonna pay the state to do the state's job.
Technically.
Right. And so we've got the projects right here that we can review quickly,
Oh, thank you.
and.
I know the pond's still nothing, because the state doesn't have any money to match what we do.
I suggest that what we do is review this sheet, how the funds were allocated.
Yeah.
Anything that's not gonna be actually allocated to be spent, be reallocated
Depending
to
on,
be spent.
well, it was, you just
On
give them,
maybe the other projects, like for instance, the website, that's gonna cost us $3,000 a year. We only have 2 years worth of payments.
well, the pond is like $13,000.
12,000.
Yeah,
So we could put another 6 into the
and I
website
asked, was it Judy?
costs.
Judy Fur.
I asked her about it not too long ago, and she said the state doesn't have any money,
We both are.
so it's a waiting game. So,
That doesn't mean that we're gonna just let it slip by. because-
Right.
Right?
We could reallocate it now, then can you reallocate it again later?
I
I
would,
don't know.
I wouldn't reallocate anything, but I would at least try to get them to get on, finding out what the deal is to
But we
get it
just have to
allocated.
know about the allocation before December 31st, 2024, right?
We have to find out what an officially allocating the funds means.
Right.
To the state. And make sure that's done before December. So
We
if
did-
there's any
we
money
did the
that's
fire
left
truck.
over, let's not waste it. Let's just make
Hang
sure.
on, hang on.
Well, we did the fire truck's done, the baseball field's done. The equipment for the meeting, was that one of them?
What, the hybrid meeting?
Yeah,
That
Oh,
actually.
no, I
No,
got
that
it.
was a grant.
That was separate.
this isn't the final thing.
So that
this
has
is-
to be reallocated.
No, we never used it there,
No, we allocated that to the,
Website.
to the website or to the buildings committee, because Peter was the last person to come in. And most of the money was gone, and he was asking for more than we had left, and so I said, well, you know, I can, I'll try and get a grant for that, and then I did, so that's sort of separate.
the building committee's got something going on too, right, with that?
It's the Village Green,
Right.
trying to do that stuff, so.
And I
just to-
think they ordered the survey and it was not fully funded, they were taking money out of other funds to finish it.
Well, I don't know about.
No,
payment
the
here.
planning committee is,
Yeah.
he's reporting that to us.
I see.
He didn't get enough from ARPA to do the full price, so he was supplementing it with other monies from other.
So one thing I would say is that the website. What we had allocated, what the group had asked, the project leads had asked for the website. Was less than what was actually ended up being allocated, right? So when they initially asked, I think they asked for 5,000, I think it's up to like 9.
Yes, I
As
remember.
select boards.
I don't have my notes with me, but.
Yeah,
it-
it was gonna go up to potentially 9,000, so you all have almost spent that for the website, so there was some money that would have gone to the hybrid meetings that ended up going to the website, do you remember that?
Right, yes,
So some of that, you know, there's not, all of that is not available to go to the Village Green. But Paula was doing some level of tracking, and I saw a tracking sheet from Paula that shows what everybody has available to them, and it looks like the planning group does have a little bit more money available for the Village Green.
I think Delila is not what she has available. I think she wrote what has been spent.
She did both. There's a column of what's been allocated, like what was
Allocated
requested,
and
and a
spent.
column of what's been spent. And then the other thing I wanted to say about the definition of allocated, it is in the grant, and I'm happy to look at it with, Paula, but I think that there is some technicality around, like, there has to be something specific. So for example, if Sandy had some equipment on order for the playground, and the money was supposed to be allocated towards that, that could be very specific. There's an allocation there, even if it's not spent.
right.
It's,
Doesn't the vote of the select board count as the allocation?
I don't believe so, but
No.
I can't speak to that. I
No.
think it would be important to
We
go.
probably should get the information from Paula. as far as what,
Hasn't
and
spent.
talk to everybody that's got something
So
going.
these ones I think we need to talk about. The pond, we need to talk to Judy Ferber about where they are, what they've spent, what's left over, and what do they think.
They haven't spent anything,
Didn't they hire a consultant?
not yet, it's a mass grant,
Oh.
so if,
She did speak to it at the master plan meeting, and I think that they did have one thing done,
The fire truck is done,
but I think some of
the baseball field is done, right?
yes,
As far as the grant's concerned.
yeah.
And the Plainfield, support network, did we transfer the money to Plainfield Support Network? It was only like 3,000,
Yes.
3,500. So that one's done, so those are both done and spent. The support for, accessible town meetings is available because we didn't use it out of ARPA, we got a grant to do it for it, so that's $3,500 that's available.
Well, at our was no money left available. It all got allocated to everything, I don't have my notes with me.
But,
Right.
so how did it get reallocated?
Oh, I'd have to find, I'll go through my notes to find them, but it's all specific and there was no money left. So it got allocated to everything.
Well, that may, that the accessible, the hybrid meeting system may have gotten allocated to the Village Green, because I believe in that meeting I said I had filed the grant, and if we
Right.
got the grant, you could add 3,000 or whatever.
But it all got put to, all of it got allocated to something,
So there was no slush.
there was no slush left over.
Can I know what you all are looking at? Cause Paula created a little.
This is just your original,
So this is handwritten, what
Yeah,
Paula
let's
did
get
was
that. I
recent.
couldn't get that, I did, meant to bring it and I didn't,
Okay, so
So-
I think that is what's causing a little bit of confusion right now.
yeah.
Because Paula's updated,
This is from April 8, 2023.
and this is from something she did like 2 weeks ago.
Okay,
So that's where
That's
some
more current.
confusion is. And so, for example, what you're talking about, Judy, like the hybrid meetings is not on her current list.
Yeah.
Because that got funded
Moved
some other way.
off.
Just as the same way as the radar speed signs is not on this list, even though it was voted, because that got moved off. The solar is not on her current list because that got moved.
oh,
So there are several things that were part of the voting that people said they would get different funds for, or that, with the solar, it just wasn't approved by the building committee. So that adjusted some of the available funds. Unfortunately, this is like a written document. I'm assuming that it went to more than you, Polly, but did it just
I
go to
didn't
you?
get
Went to
Okay.
select board, I think.
I didn't get it.
Okay,
I
so.
went through all my emails today and I didn't get anything from Paula.
I've got
So-
stuff from Paul, but not that.
Not that. So I think that's the issue here, and I'm happy to, I don't know what would be helpful, I'm
You
happy
can
to.
forward it to us, if you are able
Okay.
to forward it to us, forward it to us.
All right?
I mean, it's just information anyway. so
Yeah.
we did-
Yeah.
But I think we should get it for the next meeting
Yeah,
and get all our ducks in a row and talk about it.
yeah,
I agree, because I think that there is some, money kicking around that hasn't been allocated. We wanna make sure it gets allocated, so that we don't
leave it on
lose
the
any
table.
money.
Yeah,
Leave it on
yeah,
the table.
no, I agree.
That's just.
The town budget would gladly accept any extra monies that you have.
You're not, the ARPA rules don't allow you to give it to the town for operating expenses. Am I right about that?
Not exactly, but, I'm sure there are things within the budget that could be, but it's anything the town
We
would.
could always put more towards the fire truck.
And we can
We
put.
could put somewhere toward the bu-
Well, you better.
We could,
If you gotta put more to the fire truck, you better deal with it fast, you got Paul's writing the checks.
Okay, so
Last I believe, everything was, there was no money left over. It was all,
there was none left over, but as Judy mentioned, there were projects that were part of that list where there's no money left over that actually rescinded. They took themselves off of that list.
after our final list of.
Yes,
like
Yeah.
Plainfield
Oh,
Pond.
there's money.
no,
Oh, that's still on there.
the, hybrid meetings.
No, we talked about that.
That came off last fall.
That came off when we had our meeting, cause we were applied for the grant.
We got the grant in December a year ago.
Right, and we had this meeting in August of last
What
July.
I'm saying is the list you're looking at, that's not still on Paula's
Correct,
list,
it's
is it?
not still on Paul's list, but you all don't have that on your list, you're looking at a list from.
Oh, I just crossed it off.
Okay,
It's not on my list in my notes that I have from a meeting we talked about, but
okay. Great,
yeah. So I think we should just get everything together and put it on the agenda for next meeting.
All right,
totally agree.
and our next meeting is October
Hey,
eighth, okay.
so then we can talk to Paul, and we can get all our ducks in a row.
We can make her come to another
We
select board
may
meeting.
have to also talk with the people who are, leading these. And see where they're at, because.
Well, we'll have to put it on the agenda and then they'll have to,
Right, the pond, situation is. The money could be spent, but there is that key word allocated. They may have to actually hire somebody or allocate the money
I think
before
that-
December to.
From my conversations with Judy Ferber, she is decision-making challenged. She's always looking to the select board to tell her what she can do. And I think she has to make a decision about what she wants to do. Say, this is what I want to do. I'm going to hire a consultant. We're gonna pursue the state to reimburse us for it if they ever get the money to do it. But in the meantime, we don't want our pond to fall apart or whatever. And,
well, state owned, they should be footing the whole bill.
well, yeah, so we sue them.
Good luck with that. Lawyer?
Yeah, I might as well pay for
And then we allocate the money to the lawyer to sue the state to maintain the pond that they own.
That whole thing doesn't
They
make
have
any
to do
sense
like
to me,
cook the
but.
pond.
What?
That do like they didn't cook the pond. They blew the dam up and they had to fix it.
How did Ashfield, sorry. The Wheeler Madison.
Sandy was first.
Oh, yes, go Sandy.
I think what I'm thinking is, to me, it almost seems like it's a waste of money to hire a consultant to tell us what to do, and we haven't got the money to do it, and the state isn't gonna pay for it. I mean, we've done this before in town. We've hired consultants to figure out what could we do with the land up here? What could we do with this over here? We get all these plans and big plans,
And no
but
money to back it up.
we don't have anything, so we've spent all this money. And it's, most of the plans come out with things that we could have done ourselves anyway. It's just, somebody thought, well, this consultant is better, this school does better. And we ended up not being able to spend it, and that's
I'm
what
with
I'm
you.
looking at with the pond. Why spend a consultant, that money on a consultant that,
And that was a
no matter
lot,
what they tell us, we're not gonna be able to do?
and that was a lot of money.
And it was a lot of money. And I think we have a lot of other places, not speaking for myself, although I'm happy to get some. But I mean, I think there are a lot of places
Yeah.
that money could go other than a consultant and get nothing. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, the Leland Madison on Chris Summit Street, I had two things, but the first one, Sandy, I hear what you were saying. The whole intention behind the $12,500 was actually get a matching grant from the state. So the hope and what Judy had said at the other meeting is that by 2026, those funds will be fluid and available and that we will be able to do something there.
They,
Well, and
It's
at the
the
same time, you know, it's like worth it if we can get the extra funds, right? Like if we can get the funds from the state, it is a resource that we have here. And it's something that's important to people around town. What I would say is that 42 people, I think, of everybody that we got 140 some responses and 42 people said the pond was at their top of their list.
Was
The only
better.
thing that got better was the fountain tree. So I hear what people are saying here, but I don't think we're trying to
no,
argue
Just
that.
gotta
I
make sure-
understand the frustration though.
but if the state is not gonna come up with any money, it's pointless to.
Right, and it already said no.
I mean, but it doesn't have to go to a consultant, that's all I'm saying.
Right, I mean, but
Yeah.
it's just not worth throwing it to that if we can't get what ended for. You can use it for something else at the pond, but.
Right.
I think the pond people would argue that they aren't sure exactly what needs to be done, and they want an environmental scientist to come in and tell them what are the priority things to be done in the pond to keep it, to make it more sustainable.
So the second point I was gonna make is that Judy said at the meeting, that was at the master plan meeting, is that, they actually found out that another environmental scientist had done a study in 2021. They just found that out from the state, so they actually have quite a bit more information than they had when they made that request. So I don't actually think a consultant is the first thing on their mind right now. I think if there are things around like signage that they mentioned and some other things, if the state funds don't come through. But again, I think it's really important to actually have a direct follow-up with,
Right, she'll have to get a hold of whoever for the department.
Yeah.
That's my point, is that there should be a direct follow-up with everybody who has money allocated to them. To find out if they can actually allocate it in the next 2 years.
Or use it in the next 2 years.
And if it's not feasible,
Allocated.
at that point, we should
And if
reallocate
it's
it
not
if that's the
realistic,
case, but.
if it's not realistic, then we should consider how those funds can be reallocated. We're talking with the individuals, can you spend the money? Yes or no? How are you gonna spend the money? It has to actually be in place by the end of this year. Otherwise, the money's gone. Unless,
Well, it doesn't have to be spent by the end of this year.
no, but it does have to be guaranteed
That they're
that
gonna
it
be able
will
to do.
be
Yeah.
spent.
Yep.
And that's what we need, is a guarantee that it will be spent. You know, another thing that, was it Judy who said, you know, she's a one-person committee now on the pond, and she's feeling like she can't really manage that herself. She may not want to do the work that's involved to get the money spent.
Well, we'll have to wait to see what she says, so.
Yeah,
Can I ask a question about Baker Pleasant Street? If you allocate the money to a usage that doesn't use it, can you later reallocate it?
not, you only have until this.
You have until the end of the year
the
to
end of
allocate
the
it,
year
and
to allocate it.
then you have to stick with what
And I
you
think
chose.
that's what
yes.
this is all about.
Okay,
You wanna
you can't get back
reallocate
in and
funds,
make a
do
different
it
choice.
before December 31st, 2024.
Can we reallocate it all to free cash now and then we'll be able to use it?
I think that's the one we can't do. I wish,
Oh,
I
well,
wish.
because then it would allow us the flexibility to, you know, and the time, and that's the pressure, is
That would
everybody.
take away from all the.
Well, just the, yeah, whatever.
Well, we'll get it on the next agenda and
Try
Okay.
to sort it out.
sort it out. Make it happen.
So somebody needs to talk to Judy Ferber. Somebody needs to talk to, I think, Peter Lapointe about where Village Green actually stands. I'd be happy to do that since I'm on the planning board anyway.
I'm not really sure he's, because the Village Green idea seems like it's something the town hasn't even decided in their 10-year plan whether they want or
No,
not.
he was having a survey. He was having a survey so we could get prices to know what it would cost us. Because he didn't think we could ever take it to town meeting until we had some idea of whether this was going to cost, you know, $50,000 or $200,000, right? I mean, he
We'll
needs
never
some.
afford to be able to do it, so.
I know we won't, but
That's a lot of money to spend on it. So
But this is the town, the way we see it.
we're agreeing that the town may not.
and it's the town that we all loved when we came here, so.
Present tense.
All right,
Email from Judy Cole informing about the September 30th, all boards and committee meetings that will be held at the Public Safety Complex.
I think everybody here got a copy of it. I just was gonna remind people of it. I didn't know it was gonna show up on the agenda. It was like,
Well, it's just under,
yeah, it's just under miscellaneous correspondence.
Yeah.
I'd also like
But it
to
wasn't for me, it was from the select board.
Yeah.
For sake of accuracy.
remind people that the rollout of the website will happen at that meeting. What? Yes.
She's happy.
It's not going live.
It's just, we're gonna
I was
introduce
hoping
it.
to show it on the TV to everyone. And
How much
put a little
time-
bit of fire
How much
under
time-
people for, I've been email every board, committee, department since January.
How much time do you want for
Please
that?
send me content, please send me content, please send me content.
Nothing.
Nothing. So now, the website, I have been actually putting in content and arranging it so that it, navigates well and all of that. I've been doing nothing but that, all of this September. And, they're gonna have till, at the committee meeting, I just wanna say, this is it. And you have one more month,
How much time do
and
you
then
want,
it's live, like it or not.
how much time do you want the agenda to talk about?
Probably 10 minutes is enough,
Okay,
if that.
because I'm drafting an agenda for Brian tomorrow.
Mhm.
And then he's gonna edit that, and that's what we will post on Thursday. Because it has to be a public meeting. And, website discussions can sometimes be like chewing bear meat.
Well, I wouldn't suggest that we get into any of, like, oh, I don't like that, or any kind of comment.
Yeah, this is not a critique.
These can all come to
Offline.
me
to you.
offline,
Yeah,
to
okay,
me.
Got
And
it.
really, it's about saying, it's here. This is what it looks like. We'll probably have a link so people can go and check it out without editing it. And then they can send me content to post before November 1st, where it goes live as is.
yeah, that's good, okay.
Are you looking for people to review your website and see how it's set up, or you're looking to have?
Shannon's helping me,
We just want content sent to us.
Content,
Or you
just
can both.
content at this point, because I'm working with Civic Plus and Shannon and
the
I.
architecture's already been done.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'd be happy to look at it and say what I have to say, whether you want to hear it or not.
And he's gonna get plenty of that.
You want this back?
Ben, before you.
Happy to hear it.
Could I be recognized?
I wrote
Yeah.
notes.
Okay, this is about what I got from Polly about the minimum required local contributions, the waiver, and it appears to me on quick reading that with the purchase of our fire truck, we might be eligible, and we gotta move on it quick. I think you said the 1st of October?
Yeah, the deadline.
Said October 1st and said in another place, October 3rd.
Okay, so I'd like to send it to one of you to talk about it with me, but let me read this paragraph to you, because I think this needs to be done by staff mostly. The guideline for the criteria for data requirement for waivers, and one of them is extraordinary non-school expenditures in the current fiscal year, which we're in. Community will be eligible for an expenditure waiver if it must use revenues to fund extraordinary non-school related expenses in the current fiscal year that it did not have to fund in prior fiscal year. Extraordinary non-school related expenses include, but are not limited to, court judgments and operating expenses, and I would say fire trucks. Data required, a balance sheet. This is where staff is required. A balance sheet for the prior fiscal year and a letter from the municipal accounting officer certifying any extraordinary amounts to be raised in the current fiscal year, and page 2, from the current fiscal year tax recapitulation sheet. But we need to get on it. So,
And
how
it
do we end
shouldn't
up?
be too hard to get together by October 1st.
Okay, Paula needs to provide you with the spreadsheet,
And Ben,
and then,
Spend.
he's out of the hospital. I think he's okay. I think he's gonna be fine. I haven't talked to him lately.
so anyhow, how do we go about doing this? You guys tell staff to do it,
Actually having a town office meeting tomorrow, to talk with everyone about organizing papers in the basement.
Well, maybe you could pull Paula
So I can
aside
pull
after
Paula
that
aside
and talk to her about it.
Yeah, cause you got till Tuesday, so Ben is usually in on Friday,
Okay.
so
Maybe you can call him.
Right, but if you
Email
get-
him, Yeah,
Paul
I'll
will do
bring it
whatever
to
tomorrow.
everybody's attention.
Yeah,
so do you want the stack, or do you want me to
Yes,
keep?
please.
Okay,
And I can
I'll
send you,
bring-
I'll
I'll bring
email
it
you
up
a
there.
copy.
Yeah, thank you.
Any
Okay,
other,
that's it. Thank you.
thanks, Bob. Any other questions?
No, I move we adjourn.
I second.
All in favor?
I
Aye.
ask and you shall receive. So.
I see that.